Our next speaker is another local boy, Jose Costa. He's a former member of the Milford School Committee. Jose has a BS in mechanical engineering and an MBA. Jose is Vice President of Operations for the Northeast Gas Association. Jose resides in Milford with his wife Pam and 3 sons. He's going to give us some insight tonight about whether we should trust Foxwoods to deliver on its promises.
All right, well, I had a presentation here that goes with it. I'm sorry, let me get this mic here. Sorry I'm in front of you guys here, if you don't mind. But we'll see if this comes up shortly. But Biz and I can just start it off and discuss what Steve just mentioned here. Yeah, it's just, here it comes right now. Yeah, okay. So here's the question we've been talking about for the next about 5 minutes. And I guess when we look at can we count on Foxwoods, I think one of the things that comes to mind that as I thought about this is I've heard President of Foxwoods, Scott Gutierrez, say multiple times since April that this is a partnership between Foxwoods and the residents of Milford. And so when you think of partnership, you have to, what are the key components of a partnership? And, you know, one of the first ones you think of is trust. You know, it's almost like partnership is like, your husband and wife type of thing, you know? You can just trust each other. The one thing that I'm sad about is that, we've only had basically since April to date Foxwoods to get to know them a little bit here. And I wish we had more time to really understand who they were. But so this is really about a partnership, but since we haven't had time to really get to know them, so how do we determine if this is a good partnership? We have to take a look at experiences. What has Foxwoods been involved with in the past that can give us that feedback? And so let's take a look at some of Foxwoods partnerships. And there's other examples. I'm just going to give you a few. Let's take Philadelphia. Here they are. They were given a license in 2006. And what happened? In 2010, the Gaming Commission in Pennsylvania basically revoked the license, saying that it's taken too long. They really didn't do what they promised to do. And on top of that, as you see the article here, I'm actually going to show you mostly articles from newspaper ads from the local communities. Here, in this particular case here, you see in Philadelphia, you have a situation where they actually tried to litigate it, try to overturn it, but as you can see, they didn't win. The other thing about this particular, in Philadelphia, the other part is, look, they didn't pay their taxes on the property. I mean, is that a good partnership? Does that show signs of partnership and working with the community? I don't think so. Then there's another one, Kansas. Same exact thing. You know, they were working to build a casino in Kansas, and that didn't work out either. Now let's turn to the finances, and Steele talked a little bit about this, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but just a couple of the key points is it was $2.3 billion they were in debt. All right, $2.3 billion, and those were comments at the bottom that you can read that, again, this is Mr. Butera, the president of Foxwoods, said about his investors. And I'll just move on to the next one. This is what their investors lost. $550 million. But what does that mean? That means if it was a $2.3 billion, they still have about $1.7 billion still in debt. It means it just got pushed off a little bit. Yes, they got lower interest rates. They still got $1.7 billion approximately in debt. Now, I found this to be interesting, where this is, again, back to partnership. This is what they think. The tribe made a statement. The tribe was interested in filing for bankruptcy, which they couldn't do because of the regulations in the United States, but they were thinking about it, and they believed it would have more leverage against junior creditors. Isn't partnership something where it's even, everybody wins in the partnership? It's not leverage over one over the other? Now, that's a little bit at the past. I don't know how many of you knew this. Steele talked earlier about New York, what's happening in New York. Did anybody know that there's a deal right now? Foxwoods is looking to build a casino in New York. Well, let's see, 1.7 million in debt, 1 billion for Milford. This is like the 700 million. Are we gonna run into financial problems if they win all of these? And it says at the bottom, again, this is Mr. Butera, that the Castle project, even if it is selected, they're gonna continue, even if Massachusetts is selected, they're still gonna go ahead with the Catskills project. So it's not one or the other, it's both. Now, I'm not going to go into the host agreement. I had some comments here in the host agreement, but I think, actually, no, this is actually the host community. The host community partnership, looking at the host community that they're in right now. How is their partnership? We really haven't heard too much about that. We haven't, the flyers that you get at home from Foxwoods, do you see anything about the host community? What I see is about messages about communities that are about 15, 20 miles away, representatives from there. But what about the host community? I think this slide says it all. This is a court case. They're in a court case with their own community. Is that going to be Milford down the road? And then the host agreement, this is the part I was going to say, this is, I think David covered it very well. I mean, I find it vague. For those of you who have read it, best efforts, acceptable levels, maybe modified time to time, negotiable. Those are terms so vague that when you do go to court cases, you don't have anything to stand on. And then, finally, let's just leave this with you for you to think about. So the question is, would Foxwoods make a good business partner for Milford? And so ask yourselves, will Foxwoods really follow through here in Milford? Or will it be the same thing as what you've heard of what they've done in other developments they've been involved with? Can Milford count on Foxwoods to keep its financial promises? Again, with the debt they have and everything they have going on, they promise you. And I think other speakers, David said it earlier as well, I'm personally worried about that. And then the last question is, if Foxwoods delays construction or fails to make payments to Milford, how much time and money will it cost us in court proceedings and appeals to enforce the contract? Remember, Foxwoods is over billions of dollars corporation. Milford's annual revenue is 80 million. So I don't think we can get the same type of lawyers to support us in court cases. And that's it.